Okay. Okay. Um, just let me know if, in case, there's any interruption in the connection. Um, as of now, there shouldn't be a problem, but in case there's anything gets snapped or anything, please either, message me in the chat or just let me know because I'm at a different place. There could be some interruptions, so just I'm letting you know in case it gets disconnected, just let me know. Okay. Or if the audio isn't clear enough, that also please, let me know so that I can adjust accordingly. But as of now, it's audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, last class we were discussing the collocations, and I told you that in another maybe 2 more classes we'll do that. So we're going to continue with that part today also. We have a new activity, dog, so we'll solve that straight away. And what week are you in? Can someone confirm with me? Like which assignment is due for you now?
Week 10.
Week 10, right?
Yes.
Okay, so which means
Yes, ma'am.
we'll have another 2 weeks of class. I think that should 2 or 3, maybe max. So we'll do this one. We have one more exercise in the collocation, and then I think there's one on aspiration and stress. That should be enough. After that, if the time permits, we'll have one practice session, 1 or 2, depending on the time. I don't know how often we meet after that. So we'll do that. But meanwhile, if you have any topics that you need any particular attention on, just let me know so that we don't take up anything that is not as useful for you, and instead concentrate on something that you think is a little difficult. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Let me share this document with you. Confirm with me if you're able to see it. Okay. I am. Is the document visible to you yet? Because I don't see anything.
No, ma'am, it's not yet visible.
No? Okay. Why should that be? Just
Yeah,
give me.
ma'am, it's okay now. It's okay.
Oh, okay,
It
okay.
was okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to do that again. It's visible, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so this is the part 2 on the word collocation that we discussed in the last class. For today, I think last class we looked at grammatical collocation, the exercise that we did, no, that was based on that, which is basically looking at, like I told you, grammatical collocation would be the stronger one, right? Relevant to, famous for, interested in, that sort of collocations, which are basically the combinations of adjectives and prepositions, right? Whenever you have a functional class in the combination, like a preposition, okay, or like say a conjunction or something of that sort. Usually conjunctions don't appear in collocations. It's mostly the preposition that appears in word collocation pairs. Given it is a functional class, like, yeah, I think you understand the difference between what lexical functional means, right? Functional basically means something which does not have a reference point in the real world, right? Like words like on, in, at, there's no reference point to it in the real world, like apple or chair or bottle, etc., right? So whenever you have that sort of a combination, it's usually a grammatical collocation. We call it a grammatical collocation, and they're stronger. The bond between them, like we discussed in the PPT, which we had on collocation, it is more stronger. As in, they only allow that particular combination. You cannot have anything else in that pair, right? But the one that we're going to do today, which is classification based on word class, as you see in the document on top, this is what you call as a lexical combination or a collocation, right? So when we were discussing that particular PPT, I told you these are the bondings you see here are a bit weaker, right? In lexical collocations, the possibilities of combinations are quite higher, but that does not mean there aren't any strong collocations, right? There are words which will go only with very few words and hence are more stronger in their collocational bone than the other. To demonstrate that particular point, I think this activity would be a good one to do. Okay, so let's begin with this. The first combination of the lexical one that we're going to look at is the adjective noun, right? Remember, we had 6 combinations in the lexical, right? The adjective noun, then the verb and the noun, then you had the verb and the, adverb and the adjective, verb and the preposition, and 2 more, right? Verb and the noun combinations as well, right? So out of that, we're going to focus on a few of them, mostly the adjective noun and the adverb adjective combination, okay? So this one is the adjective and the noun combination. Just look at the example that you see on screen, right? You have good and bad as the adjectives and a few combinations that, possible combinations that could go with it. Now, there's one thing I want you to look at in this particular exercise, right? So the combinations you have with good here is good food and good girl, right? With bad, you have bad work and bad day. Can we, sort of cross match this? Like, can I say good work and good day? And can I say bad food and bad girl? Is that a possible combination? What do you think? Did you get my question or not?
Ma'am, why it's not a good combination?
I'm asking you if it's a good combination. I did not say whether it's good or bad. I'm just asking if it's a possible combination and not good and bad. We are looking at the possibility of a combination. So my question is exactly the same. Will you also be able to say something like bad food and bad girl? Is that an allowed combination? Is my question. Can you say that or not?
Yes, ma'am. Like in
Yeah, right. Definitely. You can say bad food, you can say bad girl. You can similarly say good work and good day also. Why I gave you this example is to tell you that, see, this is a very weak sort of bonding, right? This is an example, not on this particular one is a weak sort of bonding because there are many possibilities allowed, right? The given 2 words, good and bad, they're very common adjective and they're usually sort of the kind of adjectives which have a very weak bonding between another noun. That by weak bonding, we just mean that you can have too many words that forms pairing with this. So to look at a collocational pair with adjectives like this is a little difficult given they have very large possibilities, right? So many other, I've just given you 4 of the words here because we, of course, cannot fit everything here. But the idea is that these are what you call as adjectives that are found in weak collocations, right? Weak bonding. You can have too many combinations with this. But the next example that you're going to see, look at screen. Easy and simple. So in the example here, you have easy method and easy book, simple person and simple design. Try to do the same thing that you did with good and bad, right? So try to cross this with each other. Say simple method and simple book, easy person and easy design. What is your understanding of this? What do you think about it? Would you say something like easy person or easy design?
easy design we can say, but not easy person.
Why not easy person? Have you not heard people saying that this is an easy person, right? The more commonly used one is maybe easygoing person, but even easy person is allowed, right? Especially if you're using it in the predicative area, she's an easy person. Or this girl is quite easy, right? So this is also a possible combination. I can say easy person, easy design, but why you had a confusion? Now, this is the point I'm trying to make you understand.
Weak collocation.
Sorry? This is a weak collocation. No, what I'm trying to say is that the reason why you're confused with this, yeah, there's some sort of you feel like, maybe this is not a good pairing to go with this. This is a very less frequently used one. Like easy person could be something that is not as common as say saying easy method or easy book or easy design or something of that sort, right? This is how you look at collocations. If you do not see something that is as frequent in usage, right, then maybe the pair does not qualify to become a collocation, right? This is again a very common pair which you have seen in isolation somewhere, right? It's not something that is considered a collocation because it is not frequent in its usage. When we're discussing the title slide of collocation, I told you to focus on two words there, right? Co-occur and frequently. It has to co-occur, of course, and the second condition is that it has to be frequent. The very problem that you face that I don't think this is a possible pairing is because of this. Probably their occurrence is not as frequent as it should be in the case of collocational pairs, which is why you don't find it that easy. Okay, I mean, sorry, not easy. You do not find it as something that is a good pairing to go. Okay, but this problem we did not have with the case of good and bad. Okay, so this one, because the reason is the bonding is very weak, right? So it can go and form a pairing with as many words as possible. So you do not find it as a problematic thing. You're okay. You can automatically guess that, and good and bad can go with all of it. But the moment we came down to adjectives like easy and simple, there's some sort of friction. You feel like, okay, this is not going to be as easily forming pair with the words as is the case with good and bad. Okay, you understand this point? Now, what you, at this point, one additional thing that you can keep in mind is when we look at positive and negative adjectives, something like good and bad, okay? These are what we classify as positive and negative adjectives. Most of these positive and negative adjectives, they have very weak bonding between each other, right? Which means they can form pair with a lot many nouns. Okay, they are found in large numbers. So their collocational bond is going to be weak, or rather finding collocational pairs when it comes to positive, negative adjectives like good, bad, pretty, ugly, okay, so on and so forth. It's a little difficult because they are very weak in their bonding and they can have large number of words that can go together. Okay, all this is just to help you eliminate down on how to understand collocation, because we are discussing about pairings and it's quite tough to put your hand or finger on something and say that this is a collocation and not. But a few of these things and understanding about collocation can help you to figure out whether a pair is a collocation or not. Okay, that is why I've told you this. So keep this in mind. For positive and negative adjectives, the possible combinations with other nouns are quite large. So hence, that sort of combinations are rarely something that becomes a collocation. Okay, so if that's the case, I have a list of 3 pairs of adjectives in the first activity, which do not behave like the collocation we've just discussed. That is the positive and the negative adjectives, right? These are words, if you look at the first question there, heavy and weighty. Okay. I have purposefully chosen these words because just to show you how, sometimes words with similar shades of meaning. Okay. If you look at words like heavy and weighty, they're not exactly same because no words have exactly the same meaning, but there are similarities of shades of meaning between both of them, right? Heavy and weighty. But you will see if you try to form collocations with these words, you will see that one of this word is going to have way too many combinations than the other, right? So this is what we are going to demonstrate now. Now, can you tell me what pair can you give with words like heavy? Let's focus on the first word, heavy. Tell me what all can go with heavy. Look for nouns that can go with heavy.
Heavy bag.
Heavy?
Bag.
Heavy bag. Okay. Heavy bag is a good example. Then more. Heavy rains. Yeah. That is another example. What more example can you give with heavy? Heavy bag, heavy rains, more. Others don't know any answers. You don't know any words with heavy.
Heavy traffic.
Sorry, heavy?
Heavy traffic.
Heavy traffic. Okay. Heavy traffic is also a good example then.
Heavy object.
Heavy object, yes. You can say a heavy man. You can say heavy woman. You can say, so if you can say heavy rain, you can also say heavy snow, right? Heavy fog, heavy rainfall, a heavy box, heavy suitcase, a heavy meal, right? Okay, so whatever it is, it just what is the idea that we are discussing? That with a word like heavy, right? There are too many combinations of words possible. Like, could be a lot of things that we discussed and much more than that. Okay, many more words are possible with heavy. Now look at a word like weighty. Is this the first time you're hearing this, or have you come across this before? Do you know this word? Have you seen this? Weighty.
I am hearing first time.
First time?
Me
Okay.
too, ma'am.
Okay. So if you're hearing it for the first time, then like I told you, in the case of easy person, the probability is that then this is not something that is seen with many words, right? So this is an example of a word which is going to have very limited number of combinations straight away. Okay, even without discussing any answers for this, we can say as compared to heavy, weighty is not something that is used frequently, or even if it is used, these are only used in with some specific words, and hence its collocational bond with that word is going to be stronger than what you see with words that appear with heavy. Okay, so let's see what comes with weighty. Any guesses? Do you think there's anything that can go? I'm not expecting you to answer it, but it will be great if you can maybe guess a word or two. Anybody wants to try?
Ma'am, luggage
Yeah.
maybe.
Luggage. See, we can say heavy, no? Heavy is the common one that you use with luggage. Like you say heavy luggage. Okay.
Like
I'll tell you.
with what,
Sorry?
like measure the weight, right?
Measure the weight. Yes, you're right. You're correct about it, but we are looking for words that would come after it.
Ma'am, weighty
A weighty
person.
response.
Weighty person, more suitable combination is heavy person, okay, than weighty person. Somebody else
Ma'am,
also said something, but I didn't hear properly. What was that?
ma'am, a weighty response or a weighty question.
Weighty question maybe is a possible combination. Weighty response, I do not know. I'm not sure. I haven't come across anything of that sort. But I'll tell you one word that is very commonly used with weighty. Weighty matters. Okay, weighty matters. You can use the word weighty with matters, weighty matters. Or if matters is possible, maybe you can also say weighty affairs, right? That's a possible combination. What else you can say with weighty? You can also say weighty volume. Okay, weighty volume. That's also a possible combination. Now, this one, I don't know if you have heard this. There's a word called term. Okay, term also refers to something that is more voluminous. So you either say weighty volume or you say weighty tome. Tome, that's the spelling. So these are the commonly used nouns with the word weighty. So very clearly you see that the word heavy has many more words in its combination than weighty, right? We hardly got how many? We got 4, I think, right? Weighty, affairs, volume and tome. Volume and tome basically the same, mean the same, I mean, right? So do you see that we have limited combinations with weighty as compared to heavy? So although both the words have similar shades of meaning, they almost similar, you can say, but see how heavy has more combinations than weighty, right? So this is the way you look at how collocations happen. So if you have something like heavy in your match the following question, right? You know that your possibilities of pairing it up with the given words are much higher, but if it's weighty, then you know it's limited, right? So among heavy and weighty, a stronger collocational bond is definitely between the word that comes along with weighty, due to 2 reasons: that they don't have many words to form combination with. Is this point clear? This is the only point I'm trying to make about collocation. Okay. Did you understand what we were trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, no? Dhanya, you have a question. I see that your hand is raised. Dhanya?
Yes, ma'am. It's actually not a question, but I would like to know whether the collocation is part of the foundation level syllabus. But I would like
It
to know
is
whether
part
this.
of I think you asked the same
Okay.
question in the last class also, right?
Yes,
I've
ma'am. But
asked you to go
because
to
I'm
the
unable
syllabus.
to find the lecture, ma'am. So
See, there
because
is
there
no
are other two
lecture
other
just
sessions
on
going on, so I'm
collocation.
actually right now. That's why I would like to. I had wanted to confirm again.
Okay, listen to me. I told you this in the last class that we don't have a lecture straight away on collocation, but you have exercises or even questions in your exams, and I think even the lectures, right? On
Because
vocabulary.
as
Do you
of now,
have
I
that?
hadn't
Yes, ma'am.
seen them, so that's why maybe like I hadn't
Just
seen
let me
lectures on
complete what
collocation, ma'am.
I'm
So
saying
maybe
and then
I.
you answer what you want. Okay. You have certain lectures which are on vocabulary, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have questions of this nature for as match the following in the exam? Did you not come across that?
Not
Because
until, ma'am.
till now I had, ma'am. So maybe I don't know if I have missed
Anybody
out on
else who has
something or
seen,
not.
maybe you haven't seen. Has anyone else seen? How about others? Have you come across questions like this or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, right. So Danya, please go back and check on your
Okay, ma'am.
question
I'll go.
paper or
I
whatever.
just wanted to ask
Right.
again because there's another session going on, so slightly confused on which one. Thank you, ma'am.
That is your prerogative. You can decide whether you want to stay, but these things you keep checking because you don't want to miss out on the questions or syllabus that you have. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Um, Yeah, all right. So, yeah, so this is the point we were trying to make on heavy and weighty, right? So when you look at collocations, if you have, say, both the words in the question format, the following, then you should know what goes with that, right? What goes with what. So the judgment you make with regards to the matching this word given in the pair is like this. You should know which one is more commonly used and which one is not the other one. Okay, the one that is not the one that does not have many combinations with it. Okay, is that point clear? The point is the collocational bond between the words that do not have too many words to pair with would be much stronger than the ones which are, easily able to form combinations with too many words. Okay, that's the only point we're making. Is that understood? And this is also the
Yes.
answer to the question why certain pairs won't be considered collocations, right? So if you can easily form pairing between that word and the other thing, then there's no point of talking about collocation. If it is difficult, if there are only limited number of words which can be formed with it, matched with it, then that is what makes it a better collocational pair. Okay, these are the only two takeaways from this part. Okay. How do you work on this? How can you improve on this? I think I already told you. And this has been repeated so many times that now it will sound boring. That these kind of things, particularly when it comes to vocabulary and collocations and topics related to this, the only point is that you practice more. And how do you practice? You listen more and you read more. Okay, because it is technically impossible to give you a list full of these words that these are collocations and these are not, because we're discussing language and probably we don't even have such a list that exists. Okay, so keep working on this as and when you find time, right? It certainly takes some time, but the more you work on it, you'll see that you'll figure out some mental method on your own to judge whether a given pair is a collocation or not. Okay. You don't have a question like that. Usually your questions are based on match the following. So in that way it is easier, but still, even for the future references, I think this method should work for you. Okay, let's look at the next two pair, fat and thick. Fat and thick. Now, both these words, they might be something that is commonly known to you. But let's see how we form, how can we form pairs with this? That would give us a correct judgment of which one is a not better, which one has a strong collocational bond. What can come with fat? Think about it.
Fat
A
loss.
fat word.
Fat what? Sorry.
Fat
What is
loss.
the fat lord? Okay, fat lord. Then more.
A fat boy. A fat girl.
Fat man, fat woman, fat girl, fat boy, fat dog, fat child, fat player, whatever. Okay, so many of that. Then, how about thick? If thick is the word we are using, then
Thick book,
Thick hair.
thick hair, thick book, then
thick wood,
thick wood. Okay, then thick crowd, right? Thick crowd, thick fabric, thick paper, thick layer. Someone said thick wall. Yes, that's also right. Then thick snow, thick fog, right? Thick blood. Then,
ma'am, we can use thick crowd.
yeah, we can say thick crowd. Very thick crowd. Yes. A thick jungle, like because you said thick wood, right? You can also say thick woods. Usually the usage is woods, and the reference is basically of a forest. You can say thick forest, and you can also say thick jungle. And in the same idea, you can also use the word thick crowd. Okay. Say thick parts or thick air. Even air can be referred to as thick air, right? So, what is your judgment of what happens between fat and thick? Do you find a lot of combinations for thick or fat? Well, we didn't discuss fat as much, I think. But anything more that you can talk about fat? Besides, fat girl, woman, and all that, anything more that would come there? What's one thing
Fat
that
deposition.
okay, not
What
fat
thick?
deposition. Sorry,
It will be thick deposition.
thick deposition. Don't know about that.
No, but
Yeah, I think even that sounds better. Not fat deposition. Fat deposition. Maybe I think what we meant is the accumulation of fat. Maybe that's what he meant. So yeah, even in that case, it has to be fat accumulation than deposition. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we had what? We had very few. So the point we made here is that as compared to thick, you have lesser number of words to form combination with fat, right?
ma'am, what can we use with sack?
With
Sack, SACK.
SACK. Okay. No. So fat can be heavy. It can be fat and thick is not something that we use with fat, but you can say heavy sack. Okay. Yeah. Heavy is possible with that. Okay. So between heavy and weighty, we saw that weighty had lesser number of combinations to do. And between fat and thick, which one is the more, which is the one with more combination? Thick, right? Not fat.
Yes.
So which means when you look at combinations with fat, then the words that form combinations with it form a stronger combination than you see with thick. Thick, you have too many words to come up with. Even at a quick go, you have found at least 10 or 15 of them, right? And with fat, we maybe have had 4 or 5 max to look at. Except, of course, if you take the category of those man, woman, boy, girl thing, you might have a few of them, but that's okay. They all most ordinarily mean the same thing. But that is not the case with thick. You have a variety of combinations that you can have with thick, right? So in either case, what you see is that fat is going to have fewer number of combinations as compared to thick, although again, they both have similarities of, shades of similarities in their meaning, right? So one more thing that comes of this is that just because one word which has similar meaning like another one, you cannot maybe possibly form combinations with the same word that this one goes and makes a combination. Like you can say thick wood, but you can't say fat wood. You can say thick crowd, but you can't say fat crowd. Okay, although fat and thick may have similar shades of meaning, the combinations that they form with words may not be similar. Just because one is possible, the other is not going to be automatically possible, right? So words follow their own formula and method to form combinations with others. Okay, although they have similar shades of meaning. This is also one point that you must remember. Now, the last pair we have here is happy and cheerful. Again, two words which have a bit of similarity in their, a lot of similarity, not but a lot of similarity in their meanings. But you will see again that very much like the other pairs, one of it is going to have lesser number of combinations, right? We'll see what is it. But again, the words that go with happy will not go with cheerful. They both are going to form combinations with different set of words. So how about happy? What will happy form combination with?
Happy birthday, happy marriage,
Happy birthday, happy marriage then. Sorry?
Happy Independence.
Happy Independence Day.
happy ending,
Yeah. Happy?
ending,
Happy ending, happy day, right? Happy family, happy couple, happy customer, right? Happy, yeah, birthday, if it is the case, then you can use almost any festivities with it. You can, common word for that would be happy occasion, right? Happy event, happy delusion, happy ending, you already said. Happy hours, right? All of us know happy hours. Happy days, happy time, right? Happy mood. Then so many, a lot of multifarious examples are possible with happy. Okay. What about cheerful? What words can go with cheerful?
cheerful music,
Cheerful music. Okay. Maybe we can say that. Cheerful music. You can say cheerful voice, right? Cheerful voice is possible.
yes ma'am,
Yeah. Cheerful voice.
Can we say, ma'am,
Then
cheerful person?
cheerful person. Yes, you can say cheerful person. So if you're using person, then that means you can use any labels used for person, right? Like girl, boy, parent, student, child, anything. Cheerful mood. You can say cheerful mood.
Cheerful
Cheerful
smile.
environment.
Sorry?
Cheerful environment.
Cheerful environment. Yeah, cheerful environment.
Cheerful smile.
Cheerful smile. Yes. Cheerful personality. Right? You can say that as well. Okay. So cheerful also can form some combinations, but definitely you see that it does not have as large a combination possibility as happy has. Like, for example, you can say happy plays, happy, event and all that, but then you can not event actually happy. You can use happy with places, but in case of cheerful, that is not something that you say as much. You can say cheerful atmosphere, but nothing else. Like you can't specifically name a place and then call it cheerful, right? That is very rarely seen. Even if you say that might be an isolated combination, but not a very frequently seen combination. So
Ma'am,
among
with-
happy and sorry,
Ma'am, with moments, what can we use? Happy moment or cheerful moment?
happy, mostly happy, but I think I have also seen people using cheerful. Maybe both, but mostly happy. Mostly happy. Preference would be given more to happy, but cheerful also not wrong. Okay. Right. So clearly between both of them, happy has a higher possibility. It is like a more general adjective in combination and thereby has too many more combinations as compared to cheerful. Cheerful also has, I mean, it's much better than the weighty and fat examples that we saw. It still has way more than them, yet it is lesser than what happy can form. Okay, happy has way too many combinations. We've just not listed them down, that's all. So again, although they have same kind of meanings, right? The way you use them with different words is different, right? So this is one part on lexical combinations between adjective and noun, okay? Keep everything that we discussed in mind about, how you can use these adjectives. You can find more examples like this, as in what you should do is you should, check one, take one example like this, like heavy or fat. Just take a general adjective and find a synonym of that word and see how many combinations. Just take one more. You don't have to take more than one. Just choose one simple adjective and then a synonym of that adjective. Okay. And see if how they form combinations. You will clearly see that all these words, although they, they act as synonyms of each other, they are going to have different capacities in terms of forming collocational pairs with other words. Okay, so you can do a few examples like this just to revise on the concept that we just discussed. Okay, let's now look at the verb and the noun combination, right? So you have about 10 of them, right? I have written them down. Let's see how you can use these. Again, these
Ma'am?
are also going to have a few combinations, but not as many combinations as you're going to see in the case of adjective noun. Okay, definitely adjective noun is the category which is going to have lot more compositions and combinations. When it comes to other combinations, definitely you will see that the number of combinations and pairings gets reduced drastically. Yeah, any questions? Someone was asking something.
Ma'am, what can be used with skin, fat or thick?
With skin.
Yes, ma'am. Like a fat skin person, like or
No,
a thick
no,
skin
you
person.
say thick. You say thick skin and thin skin, right? You say one should be thick skinned. What does thick skin mean?
Moti chamdi.
Sorry? No, that I know, but what is it definitely does not have a literal meaning, right? It has a metaphorical meaning. When you say that you shouldn't be thin skinned or you should be thick skinned, what do we mean?
Yes, ma'am.
You shouldn't be very touchy, right? Don't be too emotional about things. You need to be thick skinned, means to be ready to take criticisms and be able to answer it accordingly, right? Don't be thin skinned means that. Don't be very emotional and sentimental. Don't cry at every small thing. That's what it is. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. Thank
so
you.
the answer to your question is thick skin, not fat. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All right, so let's look at these examples. This should be easy for you. A lot of you might have already used them, but let's see what combinations can come. Play, verb and noun combination. Now, don't give me
Ground.
examples like play cricket and play football and all. We are looking at a little more worthy combinations than that. What can you say with play?
Ground. Playground.
Playground. No, playground is by itself a noun. No, it's a compound noun. We are looking at a combination of verb and noun. Something like play fairly or play dirty or play the cards or play the music, something of that sort. So playground is a noun by itself.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
play fairly would be verb adverb form, na?
It will be adverb. Yes, that's right. So you can say play fair, maybe not fairly. You can simply say play fair. Then it would be a correct combination. So more examples. Play a game, right? You can say that. Play cops, right? Play an instrument. You can say that as well. Play an instrument. Then play music. That's also possible. Then play the fool. Okay, this is again another example. Play the fool. What does play the fool mean? What would that expression mean? Play the fool? To act ignorant, right? Anybody who acts ignorant, you can say don't play the fool, right? Any more combinations that come to you with play? Look for more. There are, I'm sure a few more are possible, but this is the common usage with the verb play and the noun combination. Okay, play music, play the cop, or play the music, or play the instrument, play a song, play the cards, play the fool, right? Play fair. These are all examples with play. Now, what about run? Run.
Run fast.
Run fast, yes, you can say run fast. But fast is not a noun, no? We are looking at noun, verb and noun combinations. You can say run a business, right? somebody runs a business, so that's one example. Run a business. You can also say run a race, right? Run a race is also a possible combination. Run a business is a possible combination. Run the store, right? Run a business, run the store will have almost similar meaning, but run a business is like um, a larger part of it than simply saying run the store. But both are possible combinations. Anything more? Run and
Ma'am,
announce.
run machine.
Run a machine. Yes, you can say run a machine. Run a battery. In that case, you can use that sort of combinations as well. Those are all possible combinations. But what I wanted to focus more on is, expressions like this, run a business, okay, run a game sort of things, because the reason being, not because the other examples you're giving me are wrong, but these expressions, no, they're expressive in the sense that they're also metaphorical. They have other meanings. So in terms of improving on your vocabulary part, that would help you a little better, because they all have metaphorical meanings, idiomatic meanings, like you saw in that idioms and phrases unit. So if you can learn while you're doing the collocation part, if you can learn a few expressions like this, it would be helpful for you in terms of working on your fluency part, especially the vocabulary aspect. Okay, anyway, the next one, set.
A goal.
Set a goal, yes, good. That's a good example. Then another commonly used expression with set is set a time, right? You say set a time. So set a time is a good example. Set a goal is a good example. Set a limit, right? This is also a good example. Anything more that comes to you? There are many. Set a criteria. Okay, that's also a good one. Set opinions, right? That's another one. Sorry? Did not hear you. Your voice muzzled. Okay. Okay.
Set
How about,
here.
sorry?
Set you here.
Set you?
Set you here.
Set your, the last word wasn't clear.
Here.
Set your hair. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can set your hair. Yes, correct. Set your hair or set the hair, anything. That's also an example. How about break? Next one.
Break the barriers.
Break the barriers. Yes, good example. Then
Break bones.
break a bone. Yes. Break a bone or break bone. That's also good. Which one? Sorry.
Records.
Break record. Yes, break record. That's also good. Break rules or break the law, right? That's also possible. Break a leg. Break a leg. Now, break a leg has a different meaning than literally breaking the leg. Again, that's also an expressive usage, right? Break the record, yes. That's also a good example. Break the silence, right? This is again commonly used expression. Break the silence. Yes, all of these can go with break. Catch. Catch. Catch a cold, right? Heard this expression, right? Catch a cold. This again does not have a literal meaning. This also
Catch
has an
the
idiomatic
opportunity.
meaning, right? Catch an opportunity. No, that would be grab the opportunity. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
With opportunity, the better one is grab the opportunity. Catch a cold, catch the flu. You can use anything along that lines.
Catch a glimpse.
Catch a glimpse. Good. Very good. So catch a glimpse. You can also say catch the eye or catch the attention, right? Catch. I don't know if this goes as, no, this can't be now. Okay, let it be. So catch the attention, yes. Then catch the time, right? You can also say catch the time. These are some of the expression you can use. Another one is catch fire, right? Catch fire. Yes. You can use that as well. Next one is earn.
Respect.
Earn respect.
Good. Earn respect. Then
Earn money can also be there.
earn money. Okay.
Earn skills.
Earn skills. Yes, good. That's also correct. More. Earn a living. You can say earn a living, right? So earn money. I think a better expression you can use would be earn a living, right? So that basically means to earn money. Earn a living. Then
And can
earn
we
a
say
reward.
earn love?
Earn love. Yes. Earn respect. Earn love. Earn a reward. Earn a bonus. Okay. Earn a name. You can say earn a name, right? That's also possible one. Then comes
Earn
next one.
fame. Something.
Sorry, what?
Fame. F-A-M-E.
Earn fame. Yes, yes. Good. Earn fame. Yes. That's also good. Then comes next one is pay.
Bills.
Pay. Pay bills. Okay. Pay bills. Then
Pay attention.
pay attention. Pay respect. Pay
Pay
homage.
tribute.
Pay tribute. Very good. Okay. So on and so forth. I think that also is going to have a couple of them. Then next one is keep. Keep.
growing,
Keep your promise.
Sorry, keep. Both of
Keep
you spoke
calm.
of the same.
Keep calm.
Oh, keep calm. Is calm a noun? No, right?
Abstract. Like
Abstract.
and patience could be there.
Keep patience is, yes, that's good example.
Ma'am, keep your
keep
promise.
silence,
Keep silence is good. What is that? Keep your
Promise.
promise. Yes, good. Keep your promise. Keep contact, right? Keep
Keep in touch. Something.
in touch. See when you use in, yeah, okay, maybe we can say keep in touch. No problem. Then keep contact is one. I think I already told you keep contact. Then keep an eye, right? You can say keep an eye.
On what?
Then yeah, keep peace, right? Keep peace or keep the peace. Both are okay. Both are possible expressions. Keep the peace. Keep peace. Both would be fine. Then yeah, I think that much is enough. Then comes throw. Throw.
Throw the thought away.
Throw.
The thought away.
Throw the thought away. Okay, can we just focus on just the noun part? Can you give me something which has more verb and noun combination? Like something like throw a party, right? Throw a party. So,
throw the ball,
throw the ball. Okay. Throw a party, throw the ball. Then throw a glance. Have you heard this one? Throw a glance. Throw a glance. Basically,
yes,
throw a glance at something, but throw a glance would be the expression you can use. Throw the first punch. Okay, throw the first punch. This is basically initiation, right? Throw the fight. Or throw a fight. Okay. Then throw your money or throw your power around, right? These are also expressions that you can use. The last one you have there is save.
Save time.
Save
money,
Save
Save
money. What was that?
Earth.
Time.
Save earth. Okay. Yeah. In that sense, you can
Save
use
water.
save with many things. Save.
Save the
Water.
lives.
Save the life. Save the life, yes. Save water, yeah, save earth, all of that. Then save a spot. Have you heard this one? Save a spot. Save a spot is basically to reserve a space, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Save time, of course, that's something that you can use. Okay, all right. So yeah, like I told you, you can use the commonly used expressions of the verb and noun. But when you're looking for this, no, just concentrate a little bit more on expressive combinations. Like I told you, something that has got more, non-literal meaning. That should be more helpful for you in terms of learning the language. Other things are easy, right? You can definitely form a combination. That's not a problem, but learn more metaphorical expressions so that you can use it better. You can improve on your language. Okay, we're going to look at the last part in this one. But before you're going to give me any answers, I just want you to focus on, these adverbs for a while. These are the adverb and adjective combinations. Just run through these examples. Extremely, highly, insufferably, slightly, marginally, very, rather, hopelessly, deeply, wholly, perfectly, totally, absolutely, definitely, obviously, clearly, slightly, probably, sort of, quiet, almost. Okay, just take another second, just run through that. Just look at them, roughly. You don't have to concentrate too much, but just run through. So they're all adverbs, right? Not most, all of them are adverbs. Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
No? Yeah. Now tell me, what do you know about degree adverbs? Do you know anything about degree adverbs? Just trying to make one point, but I need to know before that if you know what are degree adverbs. Can you give me examples of degree adverbs? Do you know any? You understand adverbs, right? Sorry?
Extremely.
Extremely, okay. But no, tell me what are degree adverbs? Can you give me examples, but what do they do? Give me simple examples more than extremely and all that. What's the most commonly used degree adverb? Very, right? Very.
Yes,
Very is the most commonly used degree adverb, right? So you can say very good, very bad, say very cold, very hot, right? So the task of the degree adverb is basically, as the name tells you, it tells you to what extent, right? If you're talking about, say, hotness, or if you say talking about anything that is good or bad, it basically tells you some, the extent to which something is good or bad, or hot or cold, so on and so forth, right? So that is what degree adverbs do. Now, why am I talking about this? When you're choosing combinations with adverbs and adjectives, you know that even in adjectives, there are adjectives that are gradable and that are non-gradable. Okay. Like, for example, look at a adjective like hot. You can say very hot, or you can also say hot, hotter, hottest, the hottest, right? Or cold, colder, the coldest. What does this show? That there is a gradability available for that adjective. You can grade it between a range, like say something like very hot, or slightly hot, or extremely hot, something of that sort, right? Similarly, with adverbs also, you have adverbs that are gradable and non-gradable, right? What are non-gradable adjectives? Something like, how do I say it? Awful, right? Awful is what? This is an adjective, right? And this is a non-gradable adjective, right? You don't say very awful. The word awful itself has very with it, right? Very bad. Another word for awful is very bad. right? So the word itself has got very along with it. So you can't use another degree modifier with it, right? And if you're using a modifier, then it has to be an absolute modifier. Like you can say something like absolutely awful. Okay, absolutely awful. So why am I saying this? When you're choosing the pairing with this, you make sure that, you don't use a gradable adjective with a non-gradable adverb. If you're choosing a gradable one, if you're using a degree adverb, then only choose a adjective that can be graded, right? Something that is not gradable, like awful. You shouldn't be using that with something, an adverb that is allowed to be graded. Now, degree adverbs like just I'll give you a few examples of the degree adverbs. Actually, some of the adverbs you see on screen are actually, most of them are degree adverbs, like almost, or rarely, barely, entirely, highly, quiet, slightly, totally, utterly, absolutely, completely, really. These are all examples of degree adverbs. Okay. And what is the speciality of degree adverbs? They are non-gradable, right? Because like I told you, they have the gradability inside them already. You don't have to add anything from outside to make it gradable, right? So you don't use gradability with these degree adverbs. If your adverb is a degree adverb, then make sure that you don't use any adjective that is possibly, gradable in nature. That's all. Okay. There are a few exceptions in this case also. There are some adjectives which will go with both, but that we'll discuss in the next class. But for the ones that you see on screen now, don't use any adjectives that are gradable. That's all. Okay. I don't think gradable and non-gradable adjectives were discussed with you for this particular module, but in English too, I think there's a discussion on that. But since we are at it, I thought I'll just let you know. You won't require this much of detailing in the exam, but since we are, we may not get a chance to discuss this topic for the next English 2 course. So when I found a time, I thought I should just talk to you about this. Okay. So can we find a few words for hopelessly? Some of them we've already discussed, I think, in the last class in the example. So we'll just look at a few of them. Rest of them all work similarly. So maybe just look at hopelessly, deeply, wholly, and perfectly. Rest of the examples that you have, I think you can work on your own. Okay. What can you use with hopelessly? Can you give me a few examples? Hopelessly. Have you heard something like hopelessly romantic?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. So hopelessly romantic is a possible combination that you can have. Okay, you say somebody is hopelessly romantic. When do you say someone is hopeless? What is the meaning of hopelessly? A risky situation, right? Someone who seems to be not going to recover anytime soon from that. So any such situation or any such person can be defined using hopelessly, right? You can say hopelessly romantic. We can say hopelessly addicted, right? Or more combinations would include hopelessly sadistic, right? So given hopelessly is a negative adverb, you can use, you can look for negative non-gradable adjectives that can go with hopelessly. Okay, you can certainly have a lot of combinations, but the thing to be kept in mind is it should be non-gradable, as in it should not have any, range to work on. It should be absolute in itself. Plus, it should also be negative, given the word hopelessly is negative. Okay, so you can use that. Anything more?
pathetic.
Sorry?
Hopelessly pathetic.
Hopelessly pathetic. Okay. Maybe not a great combination. I don't know if that combination is available. But as far as using it is concerned, I think, yeah, you're allowed to use that combination. But what are more commonly found combinations with hopelessly? I think one is this romantic and sadistic and all that. Hopelessly, you can also say things like hopelessly competitive, right? Like highly competitive and all that. Although hopelessly competitive is not like a very commonly found expression. So look for more commonly found ones like hopelessly romantic and all that. I think you should get a few of them like that. Then the next one is deeply. One we already saw, I think a few we saw in the last class. If you remember something from them, you can comment.
I'm deeply worried.
Deeply worried, yes, correct. You can also say deeply religious, right? Remember this from the last class, we talked about that. So deeply worried, deeply religious, yes. Anything more? Deeply,
Deeply connected, ma'am.
deeply connected, yes. You can say deeply connected also. Then deeply affected, you can say deeply affected also. You can say deeply rooted, right?
Yes.
Deeply moving, right? Deeply moving, you can say that as well. Yeah, some of them deeply embedded. Yeah, that's also possible. Deeply convicted, all of that, right? Then deeply flawed also. That also you can say flawed. FLAWED, deeply flawed. Okay, next one is wholly. What can you use with wholly?
I'm wholly blamed.
Wholly blamed, yes, okay. That's good. Wholly dedicated, you can say, or you can say even wholly devoted. Yeah, I think devoted should be better. Wholly devoted. Wholly funded, wholly controlled, something of that sorts.
And
Then
then what's the difference between wholly and entirely?
wholly and entirely, yeah, they work similar to each other. But again, like the combinations we saw, the words that form combinations with wholly and entirely could be different. Okay, they have similarity in shapes of meaning. Wholly, completely, entirely, all of them, they work similarly, but the words that you find in their combinations could be different. Okay, there could be overlaps, but there I'm sure would be one or two words which may not go with all of them. That could just go with one. Then what were we discussing? We're looking at wholly, right? Okay. So wholly independent, you can say wholly independent.
Wholly different.
Sorry?
Wholly different.
Wholly different. You can say wholly different also. Yes, correct. Perfectly, fourth one. Perfectly.
Perfectly elastic.
Perfectly elastic. Okay. Perfectly scored, right? You can say perfectly scored. Um,
Perfectly
perfectly,
imperfect.
perfectly perfect. Okay. Perfectly perfect. Perfectly practiced, right? You can say that also. How about slightly? Slightly. I'm skipping totally and absolutely since we looked at wholly and all that.
Ma'am, what about perfectly
Slightly.
fitted?
Perfectly fitted, yes.
Discolored.
Sorry?
Slightly discolored.
Slightly discolored or slightly
Slighted,
pigmented. Right?
slighted faded,
Huh.
slighted faded,
Correct.
something
That's
like
also correct. Fitted, yes. Slightly will have a lot of combinations for sure. And slightly is a degree adverb also. So you're going to have a lot of non-gradable adjectives. And remember, actually, when you talk about gradable and non-gradable, the gradable ones are more in number than non-gradable. Okay, so most of the adjectives and adverbs they would belong to the category of graded ones, right? Non-gradable ones would be lesser than the one. So if that is the case, and if you're not going to use non-gradable ones, given these all adverbs are degree adverbs, it means you're going to find a lot of combinations for all of this, right? So same goes for slightly. You'll find a lot of words with slightly. Maybe let me just choose one or sort of. Can you give me a few examples for sort of? Sort of,
Unique.
Sort of. Yeah.
sort of unique, okay. Then what is the other example?
Sort of different.
Related.
Sort of different, sort of painful, okay. Sort of
Relatable.
sad, sort of relatable, yes. So see, you will have a lot of combinations, okay. Again, multitudes of combinations available. Quiet is again a commonly used one, right? Quiet, can you give me 2, 3 examples at least with quiet?
Quite rare.
Quite different.
Quite different, quite fair, quite sad, quite happy, quite good, quite bad. Lot of examples again, quite. Then one more, clearly, clearly, clearly,
Clearly visible.
clearly visible. Yes, clearly visible. Then 2 more.
Clearly mentioned.
Clearly, so you can use the word along. There's another word you can use similarly along with it, which is obviously, right? Clearly and obviously. Sorry, yeah, what was the answer? I'm sorry, I did not hear.
Clearly mentioned.
Clearly mentioned, yes, yes, clearly mentioned. That's correct too. Then
Ma'am, mention is adjective.
mentioned, clearly mentioned, right? Ed. If it takes ed with it, then it can be used as an adjective, right? Adjectives can take ed and ing forms. I don't remember if I've told you this. I must have told you. So participle forms, right? Ed and ing can also become adjectives like bored and interesting, etc. They're all adjectives. Okay. Okay, fine. Probably, we'll stop with this one. Give me a few with probably. Probably. No?
Probably impactful.
Sorry, probably.
Impactful.
Probably impactful. Okay, maybe. More?
Probably sensitive.
Probably sensitive. Okay. Probably sensitive. You can use many, no? With probably, you just need to know the meaning of the word probably. And you can use actually as many as you want. Because again, this is not a gradable one. We are discussing degree adverbs. So most of the adjectives, a lot many adjectives can go with it. Probably sensitive, yes. Probably likely, probably unlikely. Even other adverbs can go. But if you're talking about adjectives, then probably
Probably
amazing.
noisy. Something.
Yes. Right. So almost all of the adjectives that are non-gradable could go with this as well. Okay. So, okay, all right. So, in terms of understanding, just keep in mind that all these adverbs that we have listed here, they're all degree adverbs. Okay, and given their degree adverbs, they have more absolute nature. So, you can't use the non-gradable adjectives with this. Some combinations may have an overlap. I'll discuss with you that in the next class. You know, there are few words which can overlap, which can occur with both the gradable and the other ones. That we'll discuss in the next class. But as of now, just understand that these are degree adverbs and how they work. Okay. All right. In 7:12 already. Any questions? If not, we'll close for today.
Ma'am, can we say probably heard? Heard.
H-E?
Ard.
H-E-A. Probably heard.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe possible in a given combination. If we have the context, then we'll understand better. But I'm sure it's a possible combination as well. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Anything else? Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Then We'll close for today, and next week we'll discuss the delexicalized verbs for the collocation and close the discussion on this. Okay. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next class, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye,
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.